There it is, song number one on today's MSI. Let's find out what Ian thinks first. Ian, what do you think of track number one?
Well, the intro had me kind of, yeah, this is going to be cool. I mean, the beats they were using, the rhythmic feel they gave to it, the groove, the little stops and missed beats they were doing, all worked really, really well. And the drums sounded absolutely fantastic on the intro. Then the intro went on a little bit too long for my liking, and then everything came in, and this whole thing is just compressed and maxed out in volume to oblivion. Everything's sitting on top of each other. You can't make out the distinct sounds of the string parts, of the bass. It's all just a mash together. You can kind of pick it out. It's kind of there, but it's not standing on its own like it should do. Don't get me wrong, I think there's some really good compositional qualities going on here. There's some really nice parts, the mixing of the genres. There is an arrangement, although I did feel the arrangement really lacked a distinct melody or hook or anything like that for me to grab onto. And I felt the changes became very samey. You kind of knew what you were going to get, didn't move on that much, didn't progress. When that lead guitar came in, that almost took my head off. I mean, that is probably down to the over-compression as well, but that really did wipe out a lot of the track in some frequencies. It was just obliterating things. I liked the use of the vocal sample, but I felt that was too short and far too late in the arrangement. That needed to come in earlier, and maybe more samples, create sort of almost a couple of verses out of it to keep some interest going and give something to listen to besides this crashing, grooving beat with everything compacted around it. It's probably got a place in film or games or something like that. But, I mean, what I would have liked to heard and what I thought I was going to hear after the intro was more of a Trent Reznor industrial, kind of dark vocal piece. And I would seriously consider maybe stripping away some of them strings, making it a bit dark and getting a vocal on there, personally.
All right, Ian, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's find out what Tom thought. Tom, what do you think of number one?
Well, the intro was a little bit long, but it did kind of remind me of some of the Tears for Fears songs from the Big Chair. It didn't really have a hook. You know, it's compositionally it may be interesting, and the beat is the one thing it had going through it throughout. The guitar was a little overpowering, like Ian said, but it came in too late, and I think it got too little, too interesting, too late. And as far as the overcompression, it just made things harder overall, and the mix in itself was at fault, not the compression. And I just think that it would have been better served had they, like Ian said, put a Trent Reznor type vocal in there, or at least something that would have made it hookier and more memorable. It's sort of like a musical interlude that could be used in the title sequence as an intro or outro to a movie. I don't see it really becoming something that I would want to listen again to.
All right, Tom, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now let's go over to Leigh Heggarty, our guest panelist. Leigh, your thoughts?
Okay. Well, at the risk of just rather blithely agreeing with the two lads there, I think they've covered pretty much everything that I would say on that. I really liked the intro. That drum was so kind of promising, that great big sound on the start, and then as everyone said, everything came sort of hammering in, and there was this very dense. I was trying to pick out sounds within it. The overall effect was I thought was good in the sense that there was a lot of impact, but then once you'd got past the impact, it was very hard to sort of get inside it and find something to latch onto. As Tom said, it's finding a hook within it was quite difficult. Although I think there were things going on, it was hard to pick them out. I like that it was harmonically interesting. There was some nice little twists and turns in what I'll call the string parts, if you like, that kind of swooping feel I liked. And I just got used to it being an instrumental, and in came the kind of voiceover, which again was kind of a nice moment. I kind of was first aware of the kind of you could sort of hear a bass coming in, then a voice came in. I thought, oh, this is interesting. Now something's happening here. The guitar, I was pleased to hear a guitar. Yes, it did somewhat swamp things. Lots of notes, wasn't it? I won't catch people like me playing like that, I'll tell you. It sounds like he's got 9 fingers on each of his 4 hands. It was extraordinary. I know there's lots of people who can play like that, but I'm definitely not one of them. You know? But so from that point of view, the kind of widdly diddly guitar was it kind of added to the mush a bit, didn't it? It was kind of just a little bit too much, really. It's funny that
if that actually was a real guitar.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean, well, without sounding flippant, without wishing to sound flippant, I'm one of the last people to ask about that. I'm not. That's not a style of playing I know very much about, and therefore it's not a style that I could overanalyze, if you like. And that's not false modesty. I just can't play like that. It's sort of people younger than me that play like that, I think. Tears for Fears, though, that's funny because I'd actually written them down, and they bits of it brought to mind that kind of 80s sound. Yeah, I mean, very very head scratching stuff, that one.
All right.
But, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that, Leigh. Thank you. And let me take a couple of seconds here, introduce that track to everyone. The name of the group is called Skelectory, and the track is called Theme 43. So we appreciate Skelectory for sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to throw the ball back in your court and ask our studio audience out there in internet land to please be a witness on this. Go to that link that Ian had placed out in the chat room. That's musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. Let us know what you thought of these tracks as well. All right, gentlemen, it's up to you right now. You need to select a song of the week.
Indeed. Yes.
Number 4.
I'd go as far as number 5, to be honest.
Would you like to come back next week? Yes, that's the old one.
Um,
I think, as we've said, it's hard to be objective about number 3, isn't it? Because that's the one that I don't want to just dismiss it, but it's hard to be objective about it. And you know, we all know what it's like to have no money to record. You know, it's from that point of view, I've got sort of sympathy with that.
I mean, it really is a toss-up between 1 and 2. I mean, we can't look at number 3 based on the fact of how we generally review songs here. It doesn't meet any of the requirements, really. You know, that's not being rude. That's just how we look at things over here. And the other 2 tracks are done much better.
Yeah, sure.
So which one?
Yeah, which one?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you know, again, we could look at it on the basis that Song of the Week, the only real song was number 2.
It's number 2, yeah. That's more or less what I was just musing on. If you're looking for a song, it's number 2. But 1 had a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it did.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and because of the... No, I'm not that far out. I'm going to go with number 1 because it was recorded reasonably well. There was effort and promise in the production, and even though it didn't really go anyplace, it didn't bother me constantly with its out-of-tuneness, and it was easier to listen to. And even though it's not memorable, maybe that might be the best thing about it this week.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm trying to choose number 2, but it's that out of tune thing.
Yeah,
it's something that virtually a couple of producers have said to me that I've worked with over time. They've said that when you send something in somewhere, when you submit something, it is assumed that it's the best thing that you can do. And for better or worse, that's come back to me. Whether it's true or not is another thing, but it's come back to me. and for that reason, I think it has to be number one.
And I think, in music, it is a basic. Tuning is a basic. It's not an advanced skill. It's something you have to get right if you're going to make music. So I think, based on that criteria, although it probably is the only song of the week, really, number 2 isn't going to get it on the base of the tuning. So I'm going to go with number 1 with The Gentleman. It's got some good things about it, but that mix really needs a lot of attention.
All right. Well, there you have it. Unanimous song number 1, Skelectory with Theme 43 is this week's Song of the Week. All right.
Actually, it's number 1 with a warning.
Number 1 with an asterisk? Okay.
A proviso.
All right. Leigh, appreciate you being with us. Thanks again for joining us as always. Anytime we can get you back here, we love it.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's always good to be here. Thank you.
We can get you to call in from Croatia, maybe.
Well, who knows? I'll send you a photograph or something.
That'd be great. It'd be the only photograph I have from Croatia.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's it. We're off.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks again, Leigh. And
yeah, thank you all.
Ian, who do we have coming up as our guest panelist for next week?
I do believe it is our old friend, Miss Andrea Bensmiller, much to Tom's delight.
All right.
Ah, the lovely, the wanderer, the illustrious Andrea.
There you have it. So that'll be very cool. All right. Thanks for being with us, everyone. We want to invite you again to join us live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. GMT right here at MusicSceneInvestigation.com.